Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Soames takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Soames.
Hello, my beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 108th episode. 2.5 years on the air and still going very strong. It's always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you so much for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly does make it all worthwhile. Please make sure to follow me at Zen Soames. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And also remember that we're now live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, FinTech TV Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, all episodes of A Moment of Zen are now streaming 24/7 on Kathy Ireland's Your Home TV. That's free programming, and you can always find us on our YouTube channel at Zen Soames. We have a great show lined up for you today. Very exciting stuff. In our disability awareness segment brought to you by OGPay.com, today we're featuring the awesome Casey Marek, two-time childhood cancer survivor and medical mama to heart warrior baby Noah. She's embracing life's lemons, so to speak. She goes by the handle at Laughing After Lemons on social media and is the founder of laughingafterlemons.com and khkids.org. Today we're chatting about what to do when life hands you lemons, disability awareness, baby Noah's second lease on life, and the importance of organ donation. Organ donors, life's real angels. Now, in our Healthy Minutes segment brought to you by Caldwell Soames, we're going to be featuring the awesome Dr. Nicholas Zyrowski, Chief Science Officer at NuVision Health Center, doctor and clinician, helping you transform your health naturally. He's the founder of drz.tv, chatting all about the superfoods you should be eating, hacks to keep your liver healthy, even when drinking alcohol, and does intermittent fasting really work? Today, in our Metropolitan Lifestyles segment brought to you by Animoca Brands, we're going to be featuring the awesome Carmelia Ray, celebrity matchmaker and life coach, chatting Matchmaking 3.0, how AI is revolutionizing online dating. And we'll also talk about how to ask for what you want in bed and get it. In our Trailblazers segment brought to you by Navé Travel, we're featuring the awesome Alexa Rose Carlin. She's a keynote speaker, best-selling author, CEO of Women Empower X. And finally, she and her hubby are expecting twins this fall. We're going to chat all about what it really means to have it all in 2023, especially for us gals. Stay tuned for our disability awareness segment featuring the awesome Casey Marek, two-time childhood cancer survivor and medical mama to heart warrior baby Noah. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OGPay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OGPay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out OGPay.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Soames. Coming up in our disability awareness segment brought to you by OGPay.com, today we're featuring the amazing Casey Marek, two-time childhood cancer survivor and medical mama to heart warrior baby Noah. She is embracing life's lemons, so to speak. She goes by the handle Laughing After Lemons on social media and is the founder of KHkids Inc. Today, we're chatting about what to do when life hands you lemons, disability awareness, baby Noah's second lease on life, and the importance of organ donation. Organ donors, life's real angels. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Casey Marek. Welcome, my beautiful friend.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So talk to me about what happened to you specifically when you were 14 years old.
Yeah, so actually I was 12 when I started having symptoms, and I just had some very normal sort of things happening. I had some eczema on my arms, just these little signs. And then one day I ended up waking up and having a big mass on my neck, and it's called a goiter. So we went into the doctor and had a biopsy, and sure enough, it came back suspicious as cancer. The doctors kind of told us, you can have surgery or you cannot. Like the chances of you at this age having this type of cancer, we have just not ever seen it. So we waited a few months until I ended up having surgery, which ended up being about 9 hours surgery to remove my thyroid. And the cancer had spread at that point. And I was 13 at this point, and I had cancer and ended up going through treatments. And
Now
it was
that's a tough battle at the onset of puberty when you're going through all those hormonal changes, and we all know that your thyroid is your internal clock. So that must have been really difficult. Now, fast forward to in 2012, you established a nonprofit organization, Casey Helps Kids, KH Kids, and you began helping children who were fighting cancer by providing a simple gift of emotional support and something very significant during their journey, a teddy bear. Now,
Mhm.
talk to me about why a teddy bear.
Yeah. So I was in isolation for treatments because I had radioactive iodine treatment. So I could not be around anybody, not even my parents. And my dad and I have an interesting relationship, but he left a teddy bear, and it just provided so much comfort. When he or my mom could not be in the room, I had the teddy bear with me. And so I left the hospital, with that, saying, what can I do to help these kids? And I ended up reaching out to a couple teddy bear companies. And again, back then, we had AOL emails. And so I found a company that they sent me over 500 teddy bears. And that was kind of the start of everything.
So it's so
Just,
interesting because I, at 19, had the exact same cancer you did, a thyroid cancer,
okay.
Graves' disease. I,
Wow.
I underwent radioactive iodine treatment. I lost my eyelashes, my eyebrows. It was at the height of my modeling career. And then because half my thyroid was radiated, my chances of having a child, even from the amount of radiation I ingested, I was told I couldn't. But that's not why we're here today. That's my story. Today we're here for your story. But it's interesting that I had no idea this is overlapping, and it's giving me chills because I've been there.
Yeah.
Now, the inspiration behind the teddy bear, as you said, Casey Helps with the Z Kids, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, of course, with this mission aimed at assisting kids and their families who, just like yourself, were affected by life-threatening illnesses, which I think is an amazing story. But what doesn't what the old adage of what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. So fast forward to over a decade later, looking back, this was just a small fragment of your journey. You say one full of many lemons, hence your handle. Now, from adjusting to a new normal, so to speak, after cancer, to facing other health issues, to struggling with anxiety and depression, to relationships, marriage, and a bump in the road as Brandon and you start a family. What
Mhm.
happens at your 23-week appointment while you are having an anatomy scan in your second trimester?
Yeah. So, Brandon and I, we had actually had a couple pregnancies that I miscarried. But as you mentioned, the doctors say after, especially at the age that we were in, after thyroid cancer and the radioactive iodine, your chances of getting pregnant, especially without assistance, is slim to none. So I had that in the top of my mind, like, I'm probably not going to be able to get pregnant and much less have a baby. Um, then after multiple miscarriages, I was kind of just waiting for the shoe to drop. And when I was pregnant with Noah, I was being very closely watched until about 15 weeks. And I finally told the doctor, I know this pregnancy is here to stay. Like we're good. We can back off the appointments a little bit. And then of course I go to my 23 week anatomy scan. I had it a couple weeks late, and they told me that Noah had a heart condition. And that was kind of all that they said. It was just, he has a heart condition. Um, and I was speechless. And it was in the evening when my doctor had called me with those results. So I didn't even know what to ask. And I got off the phone and I was like, oh my gosh. And I start, of course, getting on the internet and Googling and researching. and having to basically sleep through that news, overnight until I went back to the doctor the next day and had some clarity. And essentially Noah's left heart was not there. It did not form. So he was not viable for life. And we were asked to terminate. Do you want to terminate? You have a few more days to terminate in the state of Texas. And we were asked multiple times in those next series of appointments. And of course, our answer was no. But
So at this point, you were given the heartbreaking option to terminate the pregnancy, be sent home on what they call comfort care after he's born, or if his case qualified, put him through 3 open heart surgeries that could potentially prolong his life. And your vision of welcoming your first baby at that point quickly changes. Now, he was diagnosed with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, HLHS, which is a birth defect that affects normal blood flow through the heart. And as the baby develops during pregnancy, like you just mentioned, the left side of the heart does not form correctly. And hypoplastic left heart syndrome is one type of congenital heart defect. Now, coming full circle to Noah, awaiting a heart transplant. Walk me through this waiting period.
Yeah. So this was not our journey, right? Our original journey. Hypoplastic left heart is typically in a perfect scenario, it's 3 surgeries. And then eventually the child or adult, hopefully at that point, will need a heart transplant. But as technology gets better, sometimes even these children are not having, those happening. So Noah had his first and second open heart surgery, and he was still in severe heart failure and had a couple other anomalies. And last year we found out he was no longer qualified for his third surgery, which needed to be happen this summer. And that's when we listed him for a transplant. And there's so much about organ. It's such a complex organization and just process, but there's multiple different processes with transplantation. And the first is listing, but you don't just you're not just listed as a 1 status. You have to be inpatient to be on the top of the list. And in order to be inpatient, you essentially have to be almost dying. And the way inpatient can be, up to 5-6 months. And that's average for most of these babies. So the death rate, while, in pediatric cases is relatively high. We were listed as a status 2 because Noah was well enough to be home. I was able to manage his heart failure at home throughout this last year. And then we went inpatient on February 16th of this year to be listed as a 1A because Noah was getting very, very ill. And we got the call on March 31st and he got his new heart on April 1st.
That is, I'm going to cry. You're going to make me cry. So now over 100,000 people in the US are awaiting for an organ transplant. And unfortunately, many may never get the call saying that a suitable donor organ and a second chance at life has been found, to your point. It's estimated that every day in the US, 20 patients die because of the lack of donor organs. And it can be hard to think about what's going to happen to our body after we die, let alone donating our organs and tissue. But what do you wish to tell people about organ donation?
Yeah, I'm still processing everything. It's been so much and so heavy. Even the day we got that call, to think that sorry, I'm going to cry. The other family is losing their child. We know that the only heart that Noah could accept was a baby or a child. And to know that a family is making such a sacrifice so that Noah can live, yeah, how do you, I hope that they have peace and that that this is truly the only way that Noah can live, whether it's, a few more years, but just to have that quality of life. And yeah, I really urge everyone to sign up, to be an organ donor. It's
priceless.
definitely not.
It's priceless.
Yeah,
I mean, the gift of life is priceless. And this is proof. Baby Noah now has a second lease on life. I mean, if you could go back and look at where when they first gave you the news to where you are now and to all the ups and downs and the hurdles and the bumps in the road, but it's all worth it because now he has a beating brand new heart and he's going to live a very healthy and full life. And that is not something that you could have ever been able to predict because God always has a bigger plan. And here you are today, and here he is today. And here I found you, and I'm promoting you because I think you are absolutely God darn amazing. Now, what do you want to tell older Noah?
To use his voice and I hope that Noah just lives life. I hope nothing ever, I try, it's so hard to have a medically fragile child and to like let them do everything because
Yeah.
it's you're scared of everything. But I really hope that he just does whatever he wants. I hope that we never hold him back. Nothing ever holds him back. And I hope that other people can be inspired by that and that he uses that, as inspiration to others.
Well, he has a very strong family unit. I mean, you and your husband, Brandon, obviously have gone to great lengths. There's nothing that you wouldn't do for your child, and it shows. And when you provide that kind of love and ecosystem, and you provide the safety that you've provided and made the right decisions intuitively from your gut as a mom, because moms always do know best, even more than doctors, then you're good. So the fact that you've been able to come this far shows a testament to number one, the true strength that you have inside of you. I mean, even if you look at your history, having cancer from a young age and survived it and turned that into something positive with the nonprofit that you started. And then there you have again, you told you can't have kids, you do have a child, holding on for dear life to make sure that you can give him, a healthy existence. And you've done that. So definitely you should be laughing after lemons. That's a perfect handle for you, my dear.
Thank you.
But we are at the end. We are at the end of our interview. But my last question to you is, where do you find the strength?
I just know that today does not impact tomorrow. And, sometimes I look back on everything that's happened and I'm like, how did I get through that? And so sometimes it's just truly taking everything minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, and not thinking about tomorrow, not thinking about yesterday, truly just being in right now. I've really had to practice that.
Being in the moment, and you've done a great job. Thank you so much. You inspired me. You made me cry. You made me laugh. You warmed my heart. This is one of my favorite interviews. You're amazing. And please give a big hug and a big kiss to baby Noah because he is just an angel.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. That was our disability awareness segment brought to you by OGPay.com. And that was the incredible Casey Marek, two-time childhood cancer survivor and medical mama to heart warrior baby Noah. She's embracing life's lemons. You can check her out all over social media at Laughing After Lemons, and you can head directly to their website at laughingafterlemons.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OGPay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OGPay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out OGPay.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Healthy Minutes segment brought to you by Caldwell Soames, today we're featuring Dr. Nicholas Zyrowski, Chief Science Officer at NuVision Health Center, doctor and clinician helping you transform your health naturally. Today we're chatting about the superfoods you should be eating, hacks to keep your liver healthy even when drinking alcohol, and does intermittent fasting really work? Now, here is what you need to know. Having a healthy liver is crucial in attaining a better quality of life. The liver is vital to our body's functioning. It performs more than 500 vital tasks at a time. It includes helping us break down fat, processing toxins, and also secreting digestive juices and enzymes. Liver health is a very real thing, guys, coupled with the new fad of fasting. Now, apparently, many things happen during intermittent fasting that can protect organs against chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, age related neurodegenerative disorders, inflammatory bowel disease, and even many cancers. Here to break it all down for us is the doctor himself, the good doctor himself, Dr. Nicholas Zyrowski. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. So, all over your social media, you are an influencer of sorts yourself. You promote that eating specifically liver, eggs, broccoli, and chocolate is very beneficial. Now, on the liver side, I used to hate liver because as a growing up, my grandmother used to tell me it was chicken, and it wasn't. She would give me liver. We found out, of course, through a lot of research that liver is nature's most concentrated source of vitamin A. I know for a fact that when I started giving it to my daughter, there's an abundance in B12 and other B vitamins, plus iron and choline and copper and folic acid. The list goes on and on. It's a fantastic source of magnesium and phosphorus. So I'm a big advocate of liver, but what I don't know is what this means for our body. So talk to me about the benefits directly. I mean, I know what the nutrients are. It's also been shown to contain a not yet identified anti-fatigue factor. But I also want to know about eggs, broccoli, and chocolate. What's up?
Right. So when you look at all these different foods, they all have their unique benefits. Now, specifically liver, one of the things that is great about it is, as you mentioned, it has a really robust nutritional quality to it. Unfortunately, today, many people find themselves eating foods that have no nutritional quality at all. I mean, if you think of things like white bread, if you think of things such as drinking a soda, right? These, in most cases, are very nutrient deficient foods. And in fact, there's a lot of foods that you can eat that are anti-nutrients, meaning that they don't really have any nutritional quality and they actually strip nutrition from your body. So when we look at all of these ones that you just mentioned, I mean, liver, eggs, I mean, they're phenomenal because they have robust nutritional qualities that are going to support our bodies. And when we get proper nutrition, things tend to work out right in our bodies, right? We have more energy, our brain works better, we feel better, we sleep better. And then, of course, we also protect ourselves from future affliction like disease, right? There was a study I read today. It was by Harvard scientists that said 75% of cancers are preventable, right? So if we can look at a situation like that, 75% of cancers are preventable. Well, how do we prevent them, right? One of the ways is actually getting the proper nutrition into our diet.
And interesting, because when you look at eating organic food, obviously, with all the pesticides and what we're hearing, even that you have to wash your produce carefully. But of course, eating organic relieves the liver a lot of stress. Some specific food groups also help recovery in liver disease patients. I know that for a fact. When my dad was diagnosed with fatty liver, he had an enlarged liver. There was a lot of modifications to his diet, classified fruits, classified to specific food groups like superfoods, like dragon fruit or avocado, berries, right? They also contain essential antioxidants, healthy fats, and of course, we can't forget compounds that help our liver overcome these specific diseases. Now, you mentioned something very interesting. Nowadays, people are addled by, bad eating habits across the board, sedentary existence, and unhealthy lifestyle choices.
Absolutely.
This makes them prone to many liver-induced diseases like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, enlarged liver, liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, possible hepatitis infections, and in extreme cases, even liver failure.
Sure.
So to overcome this, obviously, we have to get regular health checkups and look for possible symptoms and change our lifestyle. But what are certain health hacks that we can use to optimize liver health? Talk to me about the health.
Right. So when you kind of look at the issue of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it's a big problem, and it's estimated an enormous amount of people are struggling with this, despite the fact that they don't have any liver issues that maybe are running in their family or anything else. Well, it really comes down to what you're eating, right? If you're eating excessive amounts of carbohydrates and things such as high fructose corn syrup and high sugar foods, then essentially we develop fatty organs, specifically fatty liver. And so we have to make sure that we're avoiding things of that nature, right? Getting exercise in, doing the right things. So in order to actually improve our liver health, we start taking away the foods that are bad. We eat the healthy foods like the ones we just mentioned. But the other thing that we can do is we can actually look to supporting the natural detox mechanisms of the liver. This is one of the things that happens in all areas of the body. It doesn't matter if it's your brain or your liver or anywhere. Our bodies have natural detox mechanisms in them. But through an inflammatory issue in the body that becomes chronic and an unhealthy lifestyle, you find yourself in a situation where these mechanisms break. And when they break, this is where things go sideways on us, right? So what we can do is we can use different nutrients in order to actually support the different phases of liver detoxification. Our liver literally has this amazing process to go in and attach, break down these very harsh chemicals that we get exposed to, and so that we can actually excrete them from our body. So we can use even nutrients like vitamins, like milk thistle is incredibly powerful for liver health, N-acetylcysteine, alpha lipoic acid, right? So we can use these different nutrients in order to support our liver health, combine that with a healthy lifestyle and healthy eating, and then all of a sudden we create the proper environment for our liver to thrive. And so these are some of the good places to start. If we look at issues such as insulin resistance today, it's estimated that, upwards of 90% of people who are suffering from insulin resistance don't even know they have it. Essentially meaning that many people are walking around extra belly fat, not feeling well, fatty liver, and they don't know that they have insulin resistance or fatty liver for that matter. And then it's creating a lot of symptoms like fatigue and not being able to sleep. And so what we want to do is we want to start just moving towards a positive direction, and then we can start overcoming all these issues. But realize if you have belly fat on your body right now and that you're eating an unhealthy diet, you probably have some level of insulin resistance and fatty liver.
Craziness. It all ties in together. But now that you're breaking down like that, that's absolutely the truth of it. Now, if say you're going to be drinking, say you love wine and beer and consume it frequently, responsibly, of course, what should we be doing to counterbalance the negative effects of alcohol?
Well, I don't think anything in moderation is necessarily bad. Whenever I talk about health, I always talk about, being moderate in your approach, because this is what allows us to have long-term sustainable health. So I don't think that having small amounts is going to be anything that's really negative. However, if you really want to just work on counteracting that, then utilizing the exact same things that we talked about is going to be the most beneficial way. Put the nutrients in your body that will help lower inflammation, that will support detoxification. Make sure that you're always working to eat a non-inflammatory diet. And, this is the great thing about natural health, right? Many of the same things that are going to help in one way will help in another. You're going to have a big pour over effect, right? And so when you start implementing these different health strategies that we're talking about, like, they're not only going to help you overcome fatty liver, they'll also help your liver stay healthy day in and day out. So for instance, I take a low level dose of N-acetylcysteine every single day because it supports liver detox. It's very inexpensive. There's no reason anybody can't do that. You can easily take about 600 milligrams a day of N-acetylcysteine, and it constantly supports that detox process. Okay.
I love that. I love that you
because
said
what it's
that.
going to do is it's going to support glutathione in our body, which is the most powerful antioxidant.
Okay, so now eating more organic fruits and vegetables, consuming coffee. Of course, you know that this is an interesting one. Globally, coffee is the most popular and widely drunk beverage, but many people don't even understand the health benefits a cup of coffee brings to the table for our liver's health.
Yeah.
Paraxanthine, right? That's the compound found, and it can help recover from scar tissue after a liver fibrosis diagnosis. In pure metrics in studies, they were able to see almost lowering of liver disease by around 70% of people who consumed straight up coffee. We're talking about not adding, creamers and sugars and like just the actual, which was interesting to me. And of course, these detox approaches, like you just said, of course, this is all important. Now we have about 4 minutes left. Let's chat fasting. When we say what is intermittent fasting, so many diets focus on what to eat, but intermittent fasting is all about when you eat. So with intermittent fasting, of course, we only eat during a specific time, and research now shows fasting for a certain number of hours each day or eating just one meal a couple of days a week may have health benefits. What do you say to this, and when is the best time to fast?
Yeah, so intermittent fasting is incredible because it's an easy strategy that anybody can implement, right? Like we can take the puzzle of natural health and trying to improve our bodies every single day in and day out. And what I always look at are what are some of the low-hanging fruits that we can easily implement. And I tell you what, not eating is a pretty simple one. There's no planning. There's no, what am I going to find for food? Literally not eating, right? So intermittent fasting is incredible because what it does is it allows our body to take a break, right? In our body, when it takes a break from all the digestion, which uses a lot of energy in our body, what happens is your body is going to be able to focus on doing the different processes that it needs to do, like lowering inflammation, like detoxing, right? And so when you take that break from eating and you fast, you lower inflammation, you lower blood sugar, you lower insulin levels in your body, which is all incredibly powerful metabolically, which is also going to all lead to weight loss, right? And making you more insulin sensitive in combating fatty liver. But the other thing that's going to happen is if you fast long enough, you're going to activate the process of autophagy in the body, which has anti-cancer benefits in so many amazing benefits like combating heart disease and many of the ailments that we face today. So this is another benefit. Now, as far as the best fasting hours, right? There's a lot of research around, you really got to get to that 16-hour mark or even possibly 18 hours, depending on the individual, to actually activate the autophagy process that I talked about is so wildly beneficial. But, when we come to looking at fasting hours, here's what I think. I think that the fasting hours that you can implement in your life day in and day out that are sustainable for you as an individual are going to be the best fasting hours. Okay. So we want to fast for at least 16 hours and we want to eat our meals within an 8-hour window if you're doing the traditional 16 and 8 intermittent fasting. And whether you skip breakfast or skip dinner, I really think that just whichever it is for you is going to be the best, because that way you're able to focus on using this tool that will improve your health in a huge way for a long period of time.
You said it. And to your point, our bodies have evolved to be able to go without food for many hours or even several days or longer. I mean, in prehistoric times, before humans learned to farm, they were hunters and gatherers. We evolved to survive and thrive for very long periods of time without eating. And they had to, they had no choice. It took a lot of time and energy to hunt game and gather nuts and berries. And of course, today, when we look at it, we have extra calories and less activity. And of course, this means a higher risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and all these other illnesses. And now when you look at the science, studies are showing that, in fact, to your point, you're 100% right, intermittent fasting does help reverse these trends. And intermittent fasting really works, like you said, by prolonging the period when your body has burned through the calories consumed during your last meal and begins burning fat. And so they always say, starve those cells. So it's very interesting that we've come back full circle. The answer has always been right under our nose. Well, we are out of time. You are amazing. I love speaking to you. I could just listen to you on and on and on. That's the beauty of podcasting, that we can make these segments available to everyone even after they've aired. So thank you so much for coming on. You're full of insight.
Hey, you're welcome. And you know a lot about natural health too. So I'm proud of you.
I do my best. I do my research. I'm a mom and I have to be on the radio delivering the messages here. Yeah, but it takes good doctors like you advocating.
Good work. Thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, that was our Healthy Minutes segment brought to you by Caldwell Soames. That was the incredible Dr. Nicholas Zyrowski, Chief Science Officer, NuVision Health Center. You can check him out all over the gram. Doctor and clinician, definitely helping you transform your health naturally. You can check him out on the gram at dr.nick.zyrowski, and you can check him out on YouTube and all over Facebook. You can head directly to their website at drz.tv. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Animoca Brands. As a worldwide industry leader in digital entertainment, blockchain, and digital property rights, Animoca Brands plays a key role in the future growth of the open metaverse. During unstable times like these in burgeoning industries similar to blockchain, it's important to realize that blockchain can and will survive and eventually flourish, and industry-leading companies like Animoca Brands will guide the transformation into the future. Animoca Brands will keep building a better and fairer Web3 ecosystem, Create impact for better and bring true digital property rights to all internet users through NFTs and the open metaverse. For more information and to become part of the excitement, go to AnimocaBrands.com. That's AnimocaBrands.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to our 108th episode, 2 years on the air and going strong. Today in our Metropolitan Lifestyles segment brought to you by Animoca Brands, we're featuring my dear friend Carmelia Ray, celebrity matchmaker and life coach, chatting matchmaking, not 2.0, but 3.0. How is artificial intelligence revolutionizing online dating? We'll also chat about how to ask for what you want in bed. Now, did y'all think I'd invite her on to talk about just artificial intelligence? No, it's going to get steamy. Now, without a doubt, AI has become a driving force in modern tech and is changing the way we interact with our devices. From Siri and Alexa to self-driving cars and ChatGPT, AI is transforming our world in ways that were once only imagined in movies. We're now beginning to see the benefits of machine learning, natural language processing, and computer vision in a wide range of industries, including dating. The use of artificial intelligence in online dating could, without a doubt, revolutionize the way people connect and find potential partners. Now, with the increasing popularity of dating apps and online dating platforms, AI tech could play a major role in this industry. Here to chat AI, online dating, and how to ask for what you want in bed is the sexy, the beautiful, and the relationship expert celebrity matchmaker, Carmelia Ray. Welcome to the show, stunner.
Hi, so glad to be back.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it. We have a lot to discuss here. ChatGPT, Carmelia, is getting people dates within hours. Men and women are using the chatbot to generate dating profiles and responses to potential matches, but some think using AI is just dishonest. What are your thoughts?
It's dishonest if you're going to completely rely on the output from ChatGPT. And if you notice that what is being said is not characteristic of who you are, it's using language that you're not using, it's behaving in a way that you're not normally behaving in, that's when it can become really dishonest. It's sort of like the classic modern day Cyrano de Bergerac, right? You have to still go on a real date. So great for securing the interest and the conversation. You should really be using ChatGPT as for ideation, as a prompt when you're stuck, not relying on it to do your dating.
Exactly, because to your point, while asking the AI for advice seems harmless, what's happening is that people appear to be towing the line when having it generate entire conversations with a potential match. So that feels catfish. Now, offering more accurate and personalized matchmaking is a thing, right? Because
Yes.
artificial intelligence algorithms can actually analyze vast amounts of data to understand users' preferences and interests and behaviors. And of course, this can allow for more precise matches, to your point. So, for example, AI might be able to solve manual swiping, right? Because that's time consuming to swipe through countless profiles, but AI could understand users' taste and swipe for them. So that's an interesting bonus. And of course, I think authenticating user profiles is a huge thing. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think that AI can also detect patterns of behavior that are characteristic of fake or fraudulent profiles and help reduce the chances of catfishing. What do you feel about that?
I mean, anytime that you can use technology to create a more efficient process, dating is time consuming. If there is a way, and I'm sure there will be, where you put those parameters, the parameters already in the algorithms that exist on those dating apps are already trying to do that. You put your filtering in terms of age, hair color, geography, whatever those parameters are, and that's a filtering system. If the ChatGPT and AI can now further help you in decision making, it should be a tool and not your primary decision maker. You should always know what's going on.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so now let's chat becoming too reliant on this tech. So AI can, of course, vastly improve the probability that a user will like somebody, but to your point, it's not going to be perfect. This is something to keep in mind when incorporating AI into a dating product. So you have to, of course, communicate clearly to users what AI is capable of and what it is not capable of. Otherwise, users may be disappointed when their experience doesn't match their expectations. Do you feel that at this point right now, with AI coming into the dating game, we are going to become too reliant on technology? And is AI a double-edged sword outside of all the positive protocols it could add?
Yeah, I think we are still really in early stages of AI. There are a lot of people out there that don't even know that this is available. For those who are relying entirely on AI, you have to remember that you're not going to be bringing this AI with you on your date. If I mean, hold on, let me go to the bathroom. What should I say next, right? Or I bet you they're put it on their iPhone now. So when you become a crutch or completely dependent on an AI tool, you lose your own creativity. Like a smart way to utilize ChatGPT is, what are some interesting first fun dates that I can go on with someone who enjoys outdoor activities, and it'll give you some ideas, right?
Yeah.
If you're using it as a prompt to speak for you, you're never going to discover your own voice. I think you use it for advice, you use it for tips. It's not your handicap. It is not you. Otherwise, you might as well, put it right beside you and say, "Hold on, I don't have a brain. Let me ask my other half about this." Right?
You're so right. All right, I've had enough of this AI talk. I want to move on to the bedroom here. Okay,
Ooh,
so
okay.
yeah, let's do this. So riding an elephant, meeting your partner's rents, getting a nipple piercing, asking your boss for a raise. The list of scary feats is long and vast. But Carmelia, asking for what you want in bed shouldn't be on it. Still, of course, so many of us, especially those of us who are shy AF, we don't get what we
Mhm.
want. So what do you recommend?
you know eh, Asking for anything, you gave so many examples of asking for things that people find really challenging. And what you have to ask yourself is, what do you really want? If it's important for you to have a healthy, fulfilling sex life, then you obviously are going to need to learn how to ask for what you want. Now, there are things that you can do, because body language in particular plays a key role. Nonverbal communication takes a huge part of actual communication. So asking for you want in the bedroom can also be direction, guidance, using your body, using your voice, moaning when you need to, squirming. If that doesn't feel so good, you gently push away. Or if there's something you like, you reinforce with sound, you reinforce with touch, you pull your body closer, you make it known that yes, that feels good. Stay right there. But people have a hard time to say, "Oh, faster, slower." It's like they can't get the words out of their mouth because they're embarrassed, or they haven't had that conversation. So it's really important that you have that conversation before you go into the bedroom. Now, it's not always mechanical, so sometimes you have to have the experience first in order to be able to say, "Okay, I had that experience. How can I help my partner make it better?" Because at the end of the day, your partner would want to please you. If I'm doing something wrong, I want to know. If there's something you like better, I want to know. So it's really about committing to the goal and knowing that you can have a more fulfilling sex life if you communicate what you want.
Ah, so what you're really saying is start by doing your homework, ask for what you want in bed. Of course, that could be difficult, right? But when you don't have a clue about what you're interested in, it could even be harder. So my
Yes.
takeaway is you have to figure out what you like. So start masturbating. No,
Well,
number
yes, those who aren't masturbating, and some women have, there are sexual issues. Some women have a hard time
I know,
with orgasm, and same with some guys, right? Maybe they
right?
have uh they're conscious about penile size, or what their vagina looks like, or whatever. So I do often share with people, you can't communicate what you like if you actually don't know what you like. So do the research, play with
Yeah.
yourself, figure things out so that you can tell your partner that.
Yeah, experiment with toys. I mean, don't just explore with your hands. Use a sex
Mhm.
toy to spice things up. I mean, sometimes hands just can't move and groove the way a sex toy can. So it is
Yeah,
what it is.
absolutely.
And of course, we can't forget, put on porn and learn the lingo, right? Admittedly, sharing your porn preferences might feel intimidating if you're super shy. But if
Yeah.
there's a porn site or specific porn video that you enjoy, I always say showing your partner an act you want to try can be easier than explaining it. So there you go.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in communication when people fear is they don't want it to come off as negative to their partner and have the partner feel insecure that they're doing something wrong. If you really put the focus on the fact that you sharing with your partner what you need will actually allow them to give you more pleasure. At the end of the day, your pleasure is their pleasure. At least in most situations, if I'm having sex and I can tell there's something not going on or he's not enjoying it, that's going to get into my head and that's going to affect my mood.
Of course it is. It's all it takes two to tango, right? Now,
Yeah,
I always say practice asking for what you want outside of bed because it
correct.
makes sense, right? The more comfortable you feel asking for non-sexy time things, the more comfortable you'll feel asking for things in the bedroom. And one thing I always say, I use text or email to my benefit. So, in the sense that a lot of people are better written communicators than verbal, and it's totally okay to talk about what you want over text. Just I always say, just make sure your partner has consented to receiving some not safe for work texts and isn't giving a presentation at the office when you
Yeah.
request to use a butt plug,
Yeah.
and that's gonna pop up on the screen. I typically tease my hubby throughout the day and text him things like, I was thinking about something a little 18 and over that I'd like to try. Is it okay if I send you a message about it right now? And typically he'd be like, no, but in 30 seconds you can. Let me step away from this meeting.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing that I'll say is that sometimes it's challenging to have that communication in the action. So to your point, let's say you're having dinner, you both have to be in a good mood. You could ask things like, "Hey, by the way, the last time that we were together, can I ask like what did you really like? What would you want to do more of? Is there anything that you can tell me that would help me improve for next time?" Because you're not in the actual act itself, because that could interfere with someone's mojo thinking,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
it's like,
You can't
you
start
know,
to have a therapy session about what you like and don't like in the middle of it. You
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of, to
yeah,
your point,
exactly.
you got to be classy about it and
Yeah,
sensitive.
exactly. So you want to give them feedback, maybe not even immediately after. Find a time where you can discuss that. And also just things like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this? How could you make it better? Right? Or is there something that you want to try that we haven't tried? Give me some feedback, because at the end of the day, I want to please you and I want you to have the best experience. So make it about them and not about yourself.
Yeah, couldn't have said this better myself. And to our point that we made earlier, you can't have artificial intelligence coming into conversations
Oh,
like this
no.
because imagine how that would go. Wait,
Exactly.
let,
Who is
let me
that in
a-
the background? Who's talking and thrust a little harder?
thrust a little hard.
Yeah.
Imagine that voice coming at you. I'd lose it. But Carmelia, it was such a fun time. Thank you so much for coming
Yes.
on. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Guys, that was our Metropolitan Lifestyles segment brought to you by Animoca Brands. That was the amazing Carmelia Ray, celebrity matchmaker and life coach. You can head directly to her website, carmeliaray.com. You can check her out all over the gram at Carmelia Ray. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Navé, a members-only travel portal exclusively available through Organo, offering members steep discounts on nightly or weekly hotel stays, cruises, auto rentals, excursions, and so much more. With its travel getaway portal, Navé makes the days of surfing multiple travel sites and spending hours evaluating the best deals done with. That's because with Navé, you are guaranteed the best prices. Plus, to gain access to an even more expansive collection of condos, hotels, cruises, vacation villas, fantasy getaways, and concierge service, there's Forever Weeks. Simply purchase a Navé Forever Weeks package one one time and enjoy the benefits many times. With Forever Weeks, forever means forever. Not only does Navé guarantee you the best prices, but it is also one of the few travel portals that pays a referral bonus, in addition to you earning rewards points, which can be redeemed on the Travel Getaway portal for further discounted hotel room rates. Become a member today and navigate the world of travel. Navé, the world for you to experience. For more information, go to nave.travel. That's Navé, Nave.travel.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. In our Trailblazers segment, brought to you by Navé Travel, today we're featuring the amazing Alexa Rose Carlin. She's a keynote speaker, best-selling author, and CEO of Women Empower X. Today we're chatting about what it really means to have it all in 2023, especially for us gals. Now, the right to a fulfilling career is no longer up for debate, but other measures of equality are taking longer than we'd like. Gender pay gap and barriers to work still very much exist in the form of social mobility, racial inequality, and prohibitive childcare costs. The all we're looking for now comes in the form of equal pay for equal work, flexible working for childcare, mental health, or side hustle reasons, and a job that aligns with our value systems. The career all has become a proverbial stick we beat ourselves with if we don't think we're living up to the standards of our peers. Peers whose own career success is both wildly inflated and a million times more visible because of social media, making us feel like we're failing. Here to chat career, manifestation, family, and balancing it all out is the amazing Alexa Rose Carlin. Welcome to the show, Stunner.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let's crunch this up. So 30 years ago, having it all was really about the proliferation of things, right? The bringing together of entities, so to speak, that previously existed for women in silo, a career and a family, sex and love, meaningful relationships, and a job outside of the home, your own cash and a partner. But now we're in the middle of a seismic shift, so to speak, where we want the right to separate out those things again and crucially say no to the parts we don't want. So having it all could be as much about what we choose not to have. Talk to me about this female empowerment shift in mentality, and do you think it's justified?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think anything that where people have their own individual feelings and emotions around something is justified, right? Because it's true to them. And it's okay if we all believe or want something differently. And I think right now, having it all is just having it all in the sense of what you prioritize. So if you prioritize time with family, but you still want to make an income and support yourself or bring in an additional income into your family, then you want that flexibility. And that would be having it all for you. But maybe for someone else, it's climbing the corporate ladder and, getting an executive position while still being able to have your family and spend time with them while being this powerful woman. And it's really focused on a lot of different things than a different person. And so I think 30 years ago, as you mentioned, having it all looked a lot the same, like very much the same to every woman. There was this ideal belief and want that they all aspired to obtain. And today it looks really different. I know people that they don't care about the money. They just want to be a stay-at-home housewife. And that's having it all for them. And other people don't want to start a family right now and they feel the pressures of society. But to them, having it all is having a great partner in life, maybe not getting married and having kids and having the career that they love. And so I think it's just about defining it for yourself and knowing that you can have it all, but you have to know what you actually want first.
It's true, and not follow the blanketed definition of, to your point, what it meant 30 years ago to have it all. I think we've all, especially women, have found a way to empower ourselves in our own right, especially after COVID and after we saw how much we were truly, in fact, able to not not just withhold and sustain, but we became, stay-at-home moms. We turned into remote teachers. We were, caregivers. We were everything during that time. And I think the pandemic shifted a lot of that mentality, to your point, where now having it all just truly does mean something different for each one of us. Now, balancing family, work, life, and caring for ourselves, of course, is no easy task. And our brain gets bogged with negativity, anxiety, and stress. That's for everybody, right? Talk to me about the notion of staying positive, tips for maintaining confidence, and speaking empowering thoughts into the universe, Alexa.
Yeah, I mean, obtaining the skill of confidence in oneself really goes as far as understanding that it is a skill and you can learn it. And so being confident in your own voice, being confident in your own beliefs, and speaking up really comes down to knowing that you are worthy of having those thoughts and beliefs, and to build that skill of confidence in oneself, and to be able to be confident to say no to something, right? So you might have this amazing opportunity in your career, but you already promised a family vacation. And knowing, not having that FOMO feeling, being confident in those decisions, you have to again understand what is that opportunity cost. And that's going to give you more confidence in decision making, which ultimately will give you more power back in your life and allow you to know that you are in control versus focusing on all the things that we have no control over. And that alleviates stress, anxiety. Now, it's still a balancing act. And that's why I'm always talking about work-life blend versus work-life balance, because I think that we live and breathe with our phone near us. So really, we're always connected to work and to our life. And so why are we trying to separate the two versus have this really balanced blend of the two? Like when I go on a work trip, I try to, mix and mingle some fun with it, versus just being about work and then just being about my life, quote unquote. And so again, just being confident in your own decisions, there's steps to really help you with that. But when I think that's the biggest thing. When you are proposed this decision to make, and then you make one decision, and then you have FOMO of what you're missing out on, or if you did make the right decision, or think about how many times you made a decision and then people like question it, and then you question yourself. Well, if you start to rate the opportunity cost of those two things, and which one would be the lower opportunity cost, in the sense of which one, if you don't do that, the opportunity you're missing is much less than if you didn't do the other decision that you were making. And that's going to help you really make a decision, stick with it, and then be confident in what you are doing and how you're living your life.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So now let's take everything you just said and let's chat elevating your brand and your business. Because once we elevate our life, we're going to move on. Because here's moms, we all have something going on the side, or we are working for something and someone, or starting our own business here. So I always like to say to people, in terms of branding, because of course, as a live host, we do this all day, is create an experience. Every interaction with a client is a chance to leave a positive impression and create a memorable experience, and be consistent, right? Brand consistency not only makes you look professional, it also helps you stand out. So this means the same colors, imagery, and logo, no matter if it's online or print. And of course, lastly, this is what I always say, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, stay true to your brand, because clients can easily connect with brands that are authentic, that are open, and true to their values. I say, Alexa, nothing is worse than deceiving clients by straying away from your brand's core values. What is your advice here?
Yes, I mean, I definitely agree with those statements, because so there's kind of two parts that I'd like to mention here. So definitely brand consistency, and looking like the same type of brand across all of your, let's say, online platforms, is really key to helping you become recognizable. So you should have, like, this is a simple example, the same profile picture, the same colors on your LinkedIn as you do as your Instagram. Now, the content may be different, right? One may be a lifestyle mixed with your business, and LinkedIn may be more focused on business. But if I find you on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, I can easily recognize your personal brand. And if you can't, then that is a key, like an easy way to switch it to become that recognizable voice and person. And then on the other side, in order to rise above the noise, especially in today's world, you have to utilize your voice. Now, I'm a big proponent on using public speaking as a way to scale your business and brand, as well as make an impact. I mean, it's changed my life. Not only has it helped me, bring in a whole other additional revenue stream, but it's been the most powerful marketing vehicle I've ever experienced. And I've been doing this since I'm 17 years old. So I've tried everything under the sun, and it's the one thing that you have that no one else has. It's your story. It's what I call your X factor story, what makes you you. It's that hero's journey, and it's how you connect your story to your products and services in a way that provides value and impact to your audience. And so they're coming to rush and buy your products or work with you without you ever actually quote unquote selling, because they're so captivated by your authentic and vulnerable story of why you got started, what you went through, how your solution transformed your life, and how it can help others as well.
Well, there you go. That's the benefits for sure of public speaking, because, of course, I believe that we all have a superpower that we may not even know about, the power, to your point, to make another person glow and evoke emotion. In fact, a study found that we underestimate how happy someone feels after they receive a compliment or listen to a motivational speaker. And of course, I said this before, but the work that I do when I'm live on radio or TV, I always remind people that small acts of kindness have a very big impact, and educating people and letting people know that they matter is so very important. So the benefits of public speaking, of connecting with your audience, of sharing your struggles, of sharing your triumphs, of talking about your journey transparently, allows somebody to really feel how you ultimately got to that successful place. And that's exactly what you just said. It makes 100% sense. And you answered the question for me about the benefits of public speaking. Now, we have about 2 minutes left. Let's chat you joining motherhood. So, in fact, this fall you're having twins. What
Mhm.
is your outlook on career? And are you going to balance it all and keep the Alexa Carlin shop open for business?
Oh yeah. So now that I'm pregnant with twins, like definitely I'm heading into this whole new chapter. I don't even know what to expect. So I'm kind of just going into the unknown and saying, okay, there's no need to stress and worry until, it comes about, because I have had that stress and worry. Like, how am I going to quote unquote balance it all? And the twins thing was a huge shock. And so it's scary for sure. And I wouldn't come on here and say, oh, I have it all figured out, because I don't at all. And I think that I definitely have created a great support system with my family, my husband's family. My husband is great. We both work from home. And so I'm not trying to do it all alone. And that's an okay thing. I think a lot of times, and this is, of course, saying this about a majority of people, but I think a lot of times women, we feel like we have to do it all ourselves, and that's not the most successful or best way to do it. And it's okay to ask for help. And so I'm definitely going to be asking for help. And I have been, over the years, knowing that I want to start a family, positioning my business in a way that I can run it from home. I can set my own schedule. I can be flexible. So I have thought about this for the last 2 to 3 years, in setting up my business in a way that works around the lifestyle I want. So I can go back into what, we started this conversation with, have it all. And I think that's really important. Like, just I'm able to create content on the go. It doesn't have to be the most perfect content. And that's something else, like giving yourself a break, and being able to just pick up your phone and go live, or talk from the heart, like speak from the heart, that's going to help you continuously grow your brand, even when you're not in the most perfect setting or perfect environment, or you're doing a million things around the house or with your family. You're still able to keep up what you love and impact people. Because today, public speaking is not just standing up on a stage. Public speaking is what you do every single day as a radio host. It's going on podcasts, it's speaking virtually, it's speaking on social. Like anywhere you're speaking to an audience is what I define as public speaking. And so you can do that now everywhere to continuously connect. But again, like, I don't know what I don't know. I'm a first time mom here coming up. So in the fall, I definitely know I'll have a big shift, but I'm looking forward to sharing the imperfect moments with everyone.
Well, you are perfectly imperfect, and that's okay. And so we all are. And you are going to now practice everything you've been preaching to all your fans and to all your followers. And you're going to be put to the test very quickly. And you're going to see how fast things are going to shift and how fast your moral compass is going to go from 0 to 60 overnight, because now you're being watched by two little shadows, your two little twins, literally, that are going to be watching your every move and picking up all of your behaviors. So it gets intense, Mama. Thank you so much for coming on. You were amazing. I love having you on and chatting with you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Guys, you definitely have to check it out. She's amazing. That was our Trailblazers segment featuring Alexa Rose Carlin, keynote speaker, author, CEO of Women Empower X. You definitely have to check her out on her gram at Alexa Rose Carlin, and you can check her out directly at alexacarlin.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Kathy Ireland here on A Moment of Zen, brought to you by Your Home TV. We've developed an all-inclusive subscription-free network that you're going to love, whether it's financial freedom, fashion, beauty, health and wellness, wonderful weddings, travel and culture, cooking, entertainment, and short-form documentaries, programming for everyone. Classic films and new shows, including Kathy Ireland Presents American Dreams. We've developed this network just for you. Please check out yourhometv.com.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also, remember that we're now live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And of course, all episodes of A Moment of Zen are now available on Kathy Ireland's Your Home TV streaming platform. You could head to mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to A Moment of Zen. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it.